Adriaan Johan Korteweg. He grew up in a household of modest means, but with a curiosity that pushed him from architecture toward painting. Where architecture asked for structure, Korteweg found himself drawn to the uncertain, luminous language of paint. His early training in Delft and brief work with architects in Amsterdam gave him technical discipline. But very soon, his interest shifted. By 1912, he had abandoned architectural studies and devoted himself to painting. The first canvases are fervent and direct. Van Gogh's influence is visible in the intensity of color and the urgency of gesture. But Korteweg's path would soon bend toward the ideas then circulating across Europe about art and spirit. In 1913, he moved to Munich, to Schwabing, a neighborhood alive with modern thought. There he met members of Der Blaue Reiter and encountered Kandinsky's arguments that art could access the spiritual. These encounters mattered. Korteweg began to think of color not only as surface, but as voice, of composition as ethical and metaphysical choice. His submissions to the Erste Deutsche Herbstsalon that year placed him within the international conversation of modernism. Returning to Amsterdam in 1914, he joined theosophical circles and the progressive exhibitions of De Onafhankelijken. Theosophy supplied concepts about planes of being and the soul's development. Korteweg used them as tools, not dogma. His paintings from this period emphasize light as a carrier of meaning, arranging color like notes in a meditative score. Faces and forms often dissolve into fields that suggest inner states rather than outer facts. Korteweg was also a man of principles. He repudiated militarism and embraced communal, idealistic living for a time. When conscription proved unavoidable in Europe's wartime climate, he chose to leave, traveling through Java and then to India in search of spiritual communities and a simpler life. These final journeys were searching, earnest, and physically demanding. In Madras, the strain of travel and poor nutrition undermined his health, and in November 1917 he died, still in his 20s. The catalog of his work is small, but the arc is clear. He moved from representational force towards an art that privileges inner resonance. Paintings such as Composition and Laocoon show brutal contrasts of light and shadow, and an interest in expression that borrows from El Greco, Rembrandt, and Munch, yet points forward to abstraction. Color in Korteweg is rarely merely descriptive. It is insistently expressive. Posthumous recognition came unevenly. For decades, he was a marginal footnote in accounts of early modernism. Later exhibitions and scholarship, however, restored him to a conversation about artists who sought spiritual meaning in the years before abstraction became dominant. In that light, Korteweg is important not for novelty, but for fidelity. He took seriously the claim that art could be a vehicle of inner life. If there's a single lesson from his work, it is an invitation to read a painting as an interior act. Korteweg asks us to accept color as argument, composition as confession, and the canvas as a field where belief and doubt contend. He doesn't offer easy answers. Instead, he leaves, in small but powerful works, the sense of a life lived toward a particular aim, to make visible what we most often keep unseen.